Lisa. Nisargadatta makes a lot of references to most people's lives moving between fear and desire. It's the fear of not being able to get something, or the fear of, and when they've got it, the fear of losing it. It's this continual flipping back and forth. Do you have choice now about the following or not following of desire or fear? Are you able to be a witness to that and seeing the desire come up? Okay, all right, I see that. There's no need to tangle with that.
No, there is no choice to do that, because there's nobody here to do it. However, the appearance of choice might appear to follow a desire or not follow a fear, and that might happen that neither of those are followed, but not because somebody picked it, because life wrote in that appearance of choice and one thing being picked over the other. So when there's doership there, which is always falling away in everyone, when there is doership there, there's the thought that you're choosing, but there's no one there choosing, but there might be the appearance of that. So
it looks like another possibility has arisen where desire and fear are seen as they come up. And it seems like
you can choose.
Like there's a choosing of following it or not following it.
But it's written in either way. Like in this story, there was certainly, in the story of Lisa, there was certainly all that appearing like I was choosing, the appearance that I saw, the seeking patterns, but it was then seen, that it was never me seeing it. That was always what, and then life wrote in a seeing, that it was never me seeing it. So life wrote in, and what happened here towards the end, although this isn't how it has to be, like the mind then will listen to this and say, this is how it can be anyway, was how do you put this? There was a giving up of any of those choices, and I sat very still, or there was a very little movement for a period of time, and it felt like there was a giving up. And it was also seen at that time also that Lisa wasn't giving up, but just laid down and just sat there. It was like it was seen so clearly, but not by me, that any urge or any seeking to get happiness was never going to give me that. It was never going to give me that idea that was appearing of happiness, and that I was never going to avoid that fear. That fear was arising with the thought that I've got to get the happiness, so I could never get away from that fear. So it appeared that Lisa, at some points, was choosing not to do anything, but life then wrote in the choice to just sit there, and it was a giving up that happened, but I never gave up.
There was no one to give up in the first place.
Sorry?
There was no one to give up in the first place.
Life began to write in that story, and sometimes I call it the liberation story. Like it appears that you're doing the liberation story, and then it's seen that no one ever did any of it. And it's the same with the Buddha in Buddhism. I don't know what the Buddha says, but in the teachings when I learned Buddhism, it was exactly the same dynamic, the pull to desire, like to I can't remember how actually I was taught in Buddhism. It was called craving and aversion, I think, when I was taught it in Buddhism. And it is the end of that. That craving, that aversion gives the whole oppression of somebody here doing something, craving something in the future and trying to avoid something that's happened in the past.
It arises with self-identity.
Yeah. And
it arises together and falls away together.
Because in that craving, there's an automatic self that can get it.
Yeah.
In that dynamic. And that self is the one that registers time and space. A self that has got good things in the past and has got to get good things in the future. When that falls away, there's just this. And it really is that dynamic of craving and aversion which gives the impression of a separate self. The one that solidly remembers in the past the good experiences. And trust me, the self, the seeking self, doesn't remember like just being happy. It remembers the highs and the lows. If you go back through the memories, it's always the highs and the lows. It's never just walking. Sometimes it's just walking. It's the highs and the lows it remembers, the dramatic experiences.
Well, that's where memories lay down,
Yeah.
where there's emotion involved.
Yeah.
With just routine living, there's no emotion like that. That's the connection with memory.
Yeah. And that's the one that gives the impression of somebody existing in space and time.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we have such grand stories around the self and these memories, but really it's just trading memories. When you've apparently appeared to trade well in the world, or you've screwed it up and done a bad mistake. When that falls away, there's just this happening, and then there's not the trying to get in the future and remembering of the past that's adding to trying to get in the future or trying to avoid in the future. The self is a seeking dynamic. And the memories are all adding, like it uses the appearance of memory to add on to that seeking dynamic.
The me.
Yeah. The me, the self. Others say self, I say seeking. I like the word seeking.
Right. I generally tend to use the word self where it has a capital S, where it is God, as you might say.
Yeah.
And refer to the little self as the me.
Yeah.
It's easy to get confused otherwise.
And I think a lot of books do it in that way as well.
Yeah. So certainly the ones from Nisargadatta are written that way.